Men tend to forget that women typically are emotionally wired or more emotionally wired.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when she comes to you and expresses a concern, if that concern does not line up in your head logically, men tend to dismiss it. Okay. And they don't consider how she's feeling. And I want men to understand, you have to learn that we have to accept men and women are different. We are just built differently, and in understanding our differences, we can create more harmony with each other. When that woman says to you, this is how I feel, it's not about your logic at that point, bro. It's about how she feels. All right. And you got to tap into that in that moment. And if you say, well, how do I know she's not lying? Listen, if she's a good woman otherwise, then there's no reason to assume it's a lie right now. All right. If you know she has not been a problem for you, then don't project that negativity on her. Just take her as her expression at that moment and understand her emotion. So it's almost like if a woman says to you, I don't feel safe, but to you, I see no danger around. It's like, nah, you okay? Just keep going. And it's like, no, but she's telling you she does not feel safe. As a man, you have to tap into that. Okay, baby, what can I do to help you feel safer? Or maybe, you know what? Since you don't feel safe, we're going to remove from this environment. And I think what happens is so many women feel dismissed and devalued because as men, again, we keep focusing on logic, but they're talking about their emotion, what they're feeling.
Yeah.
And that's real.
Right.
It may not be real to you in that moment, but that danger or her uncomfortableness in that moment is real to her. So you have to meet her there.
How you just said that is really how men process it. She says, I don't feel safe. So the protector in me looks at her environment like, you're crazy. You are perfectly 100% safe. But I'm looking at the logic, the practical on the outside, but I'm not looking at her heart.
Exactly.
I'm not looking at her mind. I'm not looking at her spirit. How can men get better at looking at that? How can we step back as men and be like, yo, okay, she's not safe. There's clearly nothing wrong. But how do I better understand her internally so that way I can make her feel safe? Or in any other situation that I just can't process.
I think, one, just being aware of the issue, being aware of the fact that if she expresses a feeling of concern, listen. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Just listen and try to understand what is feeding that concern, all right? And even in some cases she can't fully explain it, just honor it. Just honor it. Again, if anyone says, well, she might just be tripping, listen, if you have a good woman, why assume she's tripping? You see what I'm saying? Just trust it. And I'm a firm believer that, listen, I am a proponent of women's intuition. I believe in the power of it. And I believe we all have it, but women have it at a higher level. Exactly. And I do believe, because I'm all about balance. And I believe that God created us to balance each other out, not equal each other out. And so if my strength is logic, her strength is intuition. And so if we're walking together, yes, I'm looking for what I see, but she's going to pick up on what she feels. And I'm going to respect that just as much as what I see. You see what I'm saying? Because again, if I know that we are supposed to be together, which goes back to, are you even consulting with God if you should be with this person? But that's a whole nother discussion, all right? But if I know this is the woman God said this is for me, and she's telling me she feels a certain kind of way, I'm going to listen to that. And so as men, it's just practice. It's getting comfortable with that. I think, again, we are not taught this. We're not comfortable with this. We don't even understand the concept for a lot of guys.
Right.
But if now you're hearing this message, practice it. Also, talk to your woman and say, okay, listen, you know what? This is hard for me to understand. If you catch me dismissing you, remind me.